Hi, I'm Matt Thompson, Hefty Naturals Brand Manager.
And I'm Rob Fritz, Lead Agronomist, Hefty Seed Company.
And as we continue to segment out our Hefty Naturals portfolio, it leads us to two products that we talk about in a market that we at Hefty Seed Company don't typically talk about.
Yeah, we're in the manure management field in these conversations, and we're going to talk about N-Tercept and D-Comp, our two manure management products.
So we have two products that are 100% biologically driven to break down manure into plant available form.
In our product N-Tercept, which is our deep pit or lagoon treatment, and it's actually all microbial, and it's designed to break down the solids and also take away the crusting.
So throughout our travels and visiting with our different operations across the upper Midwest, is we've identified that a lot of our growers in the crop rotation aspect of the business also has some piece of the business when it comes to cattle or hogs.
One of the problems obviously is smell. If we can do what we can to trap that nitrogen and the sulfur in that pit and keep them in that solution, which is what N-Tercept does, which makes our manure a much better product to put on the fields. The other added benefit is we have all this biological that we've built up in this pit that you can put on your field, and a lot of the products in the N-Tercept are also in some of our other treatments. So it's kind of a win-win situation.
So the four biggest things when you think about N-Tercept are: number one, flowability when you go to pump manure out of the deep pit or lagoon.
Solid reduction.
Number two, crusting, and how we are able to break crusting down and keep it into a solid liquid suspension.
Correct.
Number three, nutrient availability. We have the ability to keep more nutrients in our samples from before and after applications. And number four, smell. I cannot stress that last one enough.
Yeah, and then one other bonus is if you don't have a crust, you don't have flies.
That's right.
And everybody hates flies.
When we go out and we test before and after, when we make N-Tercept applications to the barn, we've seen anywhere from a 6 to 7 to 1 return on investments when it comes to the actual cost of when N-Tercept is.
N-Tercept's a great value, but what is also a good value is, hey, I've had a lot of guys complaining about residue. Residue is a big problem. So we came up with a product to break down residue in your crop. And as a bonus, if you're a cattle producer and you have piles, what's in those piles? It's a lot of residue. A lot of residue.
That's right.
So you can attack both residue situations with our product called D-Comp.
We cannot move manure across state lines.
Correct.
But we can move compost.
Right.
And when we make applications of D-Comp to piled manure from cattle operations, we can take those piled manures and change them from manure to compost in about 6 weeks' time.
Because what we're using is we're using anaerobic digestion. But the other great thing is on your fields in the fall, if you have time, and we will have an early harvest possibly this year for 2020, so we can absolutely spray this crop with this residue management piece and start breaking down those microbes. We'll start breaking down that crop immediately.
So too many times we've gone out in the fields in 2020 spring and seen corn planted into beanstalk residue where we still have corn stalks from 2 years ago. When we make D-Comp applications after that combine has harvested that corn, we're just speeding up the process of microbial degradation to the corn stalks. And that's what we're trying to do, is get that plant bed or that seed bed available early, so when we come that next spring, we don't have residue to make a problem.
Yeah, we've been working really hard on making our hybrids better, our stalks better, and our roots bigger. Now we got a product to take and break those down so that in the next spring, we have a better chance of getting that seed to soil contact and that good stand, and treat our corn with our microbes to get them going in the spring.
So as we wrap up, the two things that we want you to remember when somebody brings up the word D-Comp is, number one, I can use D-Comp for manure management with piled manure. Number two, an exciting segment for us is going to be residue management after that combine.
And if you have deep pits at your farm that you're handling manure, N-Tercept. Less smell, better nutrient capacity, better pumping, and a better quality product for your farm.